Set your timer every 45 minutes. Get up and move for about 10 minutes. Even if you're sitting at a job, if you're watching TV, Netflix and chill, whatever you're doing, but never sit for 8 hours straight. When you do that, it increases your mortality by 10% every hour over baseline. Make sure you are getting up and moving at least 10 minutes every 45 minutes. If not, you're doing yourself a lot of damage. Don't just sit in front of the TV. Don't sit in front of that computer playing those video games without getting up and moving around. It's okay to do that, but take a break and move so that you can live and be healthy.
Welcome to Win-Win with Gwen, hosted by Gwendolyn Shores, author, inspirational speaker, transformational coach, and CEO of Minds Above Matters. This is the podcast where your dreams ignite, limits shatter, and action leads to the life that you deserve. Your breakthrough starts here.
Welcome back to Win-Win with Gwen. Today, we're talking about something that can change your life. And that change that I'm talking about is how to stop being so-called almost sick or sick and start living fully healthy. I know so many of you are tired of the aches and the pains, and today we're going to address that. Now, I'm not a doctor, and this episode is for educational and inspirational purposes only. I'm sharing knowledge, my own personal experience, and truth on about my own journey and the things that I've researched and experienced, from pain to progress, from pills to prevention. Why? Because you deserve to win. And it's always a win-win with Gwen. So before making changes, talk to your doctor and then take charge of your health like never before. Because this is one race that you're supposed to win. No exceptions. And that means you've got to train and you've got to get results, because this is a battle that your life depends on. So we're going to talk about functional medicine. And see, functional medicine is not about fixing symptoms. It's about finding cause. It asks why instead of what. Why do you have this? Not what do you have. What can you do to prevent things? That's what functional medicine is about. If you have headaches, fatigue, or joint pain, traditional medicine says take a pill. But this thing I'm talking about when it comes to functional medicine, it says what's happening in your gut. How's your sleep? What's your stress level? And it asks one big question: what are you eating? In this approach, sick people can become unsick, and well people, they can stay well because they address the root and not the result. The goal is to balance your system. Everything has to have balance: your hormones, your gut, metabolism, and your mind. So healing can begin naturally. That's what this type of balance does. It allows natural healing, and your body is amazing. It has the ability to heal. There's this thing called the wellness wheel, okay? And that's what I want to talk about. See, the wellness wheel was first introduced, and I think around the 70s by Dr. Bill Hitler. Now, Dr. Bill Hitler was the co-founder of National Wellness Institute. You've heard of that. That's a very common word you hear. You never probably give thought when you hear the National Wellness Institute. That's who that's contributed to. And it breaks down 7 health areas, and that's your physical, your emotional, social, intellectual, your spiritual, environmental, and your occupational. Those areas all need to be taken care of. When one area is off, every single one of those areas suffer. You can't just work out and ignore your emotions. They matter too. See, you can't meditate and still eat junk food. Wellness is a circle, not a checklist. So remember that. If you're working on one part of your health, there's got to be work on other parts. And I just gave you the map on what areas you've got to stay focused on. Let's talk about processed food. Lately, food ain't been food, honey. It ain't been what it used to be. And we're going to talk about that because I know a lot of you are noticing this thing. And since our food system changed, when I was a kid, I remember what food was like. So I want to introduce you to the fact that I remember what that food is like. Factories replaced farms. Chemicals replaced nutrients. The government allowed dyes, preservatives, and hyper palatable foods. Now, when I say hyper palatable foods, those are those foods that when you eat them, they taste so good that you can't let them go. So the food was designed to taste so good that you couldn't notice the poisons within them. And they became addictive. Processed foods, for those of you who don't know it, and some of you might know it, but processed foods are addictive by design. They are addictive by design. Sugar spikes your dopamine, salt tricks your brain, and fat locks in. All of that, okay? That's not by accident. That's marketing science at its best. Don't get it mistaken, honey. You have a battle ahead of you to let go of these foods, okay? So if you've ever said, I can't stop eating chips or sweets, it's not a weakness, it's wiring. But you have the ability to rewire yourself because, as I've always told you guys are created in the likeness of the omnipotent one. You are able to do the impossible. And this is how you break those addictions. You can break those addictions in 3 steps. First of all, you want to start breaking that cycle by detoxing your kitchen. Remove all processed snacks, sodas, fast foods. And you know what? If they're not in your house, it's hard to get to when you have a craving. So make sure you get them out of your house. The next thing you want to do is eat whole foods, real foods that come from the earth, like fruits, vegetables, fish, eggs, nuts, grains, and things that still look like plants. That's what you need to be doing as well. It's called whole foods because but it hasn't been broken apart and had additives and all that. So remember, whole means not disturbed. Then prep smart. Use a crock pot. I always use a crock pot when I'm not at home. So when you're at work, have that food cooking in a crock pot. You don't have to be able to watch it. Chop your vegetables ahead of time. Make simple soups, roasted vegetables, and proteins that you can reheat. And try to stay away from the microwaves, honey. The microwaves aren't good for your food. Zip zap, honey, that's that. Stop using that microwave so much. It's not good for you. Remember, when you eat real food, cravings go down, your hunger evens out, and your energy comes back. And when you have energy, you have the ability to think better. You have the ability to go out and exercise your body because exercise is very important. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how important exercise is, okay? So let's get back to this right here because I want to tell you, most people, they think that nutrition only matters after something happens, after something goes wrong. But your food is your medicine. Your food can literally prevent illness. It can prevent surgery. Poor diet leads to inflammation, which causes heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and more other diseases and situations. See, even after surgery, food can determine how well you heal. Honey, pineapples are amazing after surgery. Check that out. But there's so many other things that you need to be taking before and after surgery. After surgery, your body needs nutrients, protein to rebuild tissue, vitamins to recover, and antioxidants to reduce swelling. If you eat sugar and processed foods post-surgery, you're slowing down your recovery. And that's not what you want to do because that body needs to go ahead and heal properly. So anytime you have surgery, pay attention to what you're eating. Don't just go home, lay in the bed and eat tons of ice cream, chips, drink soda, sweet tea, and all that. That's not what the body needs for more than one reason, okay? Now I want to talk to you about glucose curve and eating in the right order because, we don't realize that when we fix a plate, that how we eat matters. Food has an order of operation. Everything has an order of operation, and food is no different. If you want to balance your sugar and your energy, Eat vegetables first because vegetables have fiber and that fiber slows sugar absorption. Then you want to eat your proteins, like your meats and things and your healthy fats. That's the second thing. The third thing you then eat is your carbs. Eat the bread less. Don't eat it all together. Choose healthy carbs like quinoa, oats, lentils, or sweet potatoes. And there's a list of other ones too. Go find the ones that you want, that you like, okay? But choose wisely. Everyone's glucose responds differently. So I want you to start testing your own glucose. Test it about 4 to 6 weeks to see what's spiking your sugars. Take out the time to check it out. Don't wait until you're a diabetic and learn what your body needs then, because that could be too late. Learn what your body needs now. Go ahead and start finding out what foods are spiking your levels, okay? Just because somebody says bananas does this or whatever, that don't mean you're the same. And look, protein, muscle, and metabolism. That's very important. Protein is the key to longevity. You need to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. Divide it into 3 to 4 meals, okay? So divide that into 3 to 4 meals. That keeps your muscles strong. It keeps your muscles strong and prevents fat loss from stealing your strength, okay? Because you don't need that. I'm a pescatarian. If you're a vegetarian or pescatarian, use things like pea powder, pea protein powder, tofu, lentils, beans, or fish. Muscle keeps you young. It helps balance hormones and stabilize your blood sugar. So that's very important. Make sure you are paying attention to that and that you are doing what it takes to make sure that's okay in life. You have to keep a chart or a journal until you can do this by habit. This is a lot to keep up with, but it's not impossible. Let's talk basics. Let's talk about vitamin D plus K2, okay? This is going to help your immune system, your bones, and your hormones. Keep your levels between 50 to 80, okay? But again, get your blood work and pay attention to your blood work. When it comes to fish oil is good because it's going to reduce inflammation, and inflammation leads to your illness and your diseases. So pay attention. That's very important. It also supports your heart. I want you to make sure you have enough magnesium. Magnesium calms your body and it improves your sleep. So many people are walking around with sleep issues. Get that magnesium. And creatine, 5 to 8 milligrams a day for energy and muscle protection. Okay, that's very important. The older we get, 40s and 50s, pay attention. Ashwagandha, it's a natural support that helps with stress and sleep. It's natural. You don't have to go and take something that's not natural. Put some natural stuff in your body. If you can't eat 800 grams of vegetables daily, which is about 2 big salads, you may need supplements to help fill that gap, okay? So I want you to definitely check your blood work every year. Know your cholesterol. Make sure you know about how much vitamin D you have and that A1C, that glucose level. Make sure those are so important. Prevention is power. Prevention is power. Remember that. And that's what we're doing here. We're talking about some prevention, okay? Now, I mentioned earlier about movement or exercise, so let me hit on that. And I also want to tell you a little bit about flexibility of those hips, especially as we get older. Because when I was young, I did cartwheels, backflips, splits. I did it all, honey. But as I got older, I stopped. But listen, movement is medicine. You don't need a gym. You just need consistency. You can do something as simple as walking, stretching, climbing stairs. You can dance, even if it's offbeat, because honey, I can't dance, but I still dance offbeat, okay? Move your hips. Can I say it again? Move your hips. Strong, flexible hips reduce lower back pain. It improves circulation and literally increases your lifespan. That's how important it is for you to keep them hips flexible. When you move your hips, you move your life force. This is some good advice you can do. Set your timer every 45 minutes. And every 45 minutes, get up and move for about 10 minutes. Even if you're sitting at a job, if you're watching TV, if you're Netflix and chill, whatever you're doing, because you should never sit for 8 hours straight. When you do that, it increases your mortality by 10% every hour over baseline. So yes, make sure you are getting up and moving at least 10 minutes every 45 minutes. If not, you're doing yourself a lot of damage. Don't just sit in front of the TV. Don't sit in front of that computer playing those video games without getting up and moving around. Take a break and move so that you can live and be healthy. Health isn't perfection. It's progress with awareness. And that's what I want to give you. I want to give you awareness. It's knowing your numbers. It's asking questions. It's researching your food and staying accountable. You are responsible for your health. Don't put it in the hands of a physician. They can help you, but you should be keeping up with it. You should know how to read those numbers. Functional medicine is an anti-doctor, okay? It's pro you. Pro you. Doctors treat disease, but you, my powerful people, you prevent it. Don't just let life pass you by. Grab a hold of your life, okay? It's yours. It's your biggest gift that you have been given. Don't take it for granted, honey. Gratitude, gratitude. Get up and let's do something. Get up, get out, and do something. Family, you have one body, one life, one mission. Start today. Drink more water, stretch your hips, choose real food, and know your numbers. If you don't know how to read those numbers when you get your blood work, drop it into Chat GPT and let it explain it to you and then print it out, okay? I want you to say this out loud. I am my own best health advocate. I am not waiting for sickness to take control. If this episode spoke to you, I want you to share it with a friend. Do not be a gatekeeper on this episode right here. Someone out there is tired, in pain, and ready to heal. And this video may be their key, and you hold it right now. Share it with them. They may not have this knowledge, and they need it. Because, look, they may be ready to do the work. And when you do the work, it's not just a win, guys. It's a win-win with Gwen. And that's what this podcast is all about. I'm here to help you win. And when I win, you win. When you win, I win. We all win. We're not gatekeepers here, guys. But you've got to do the work. I want you guys to give yourselves a high five because you showed up today. I'm never going to leave this show without giving you a high five. Not when you show up for yourself and continue to grow, continue to win, continue to heal. You know what? I see you. I love you. And I'm so proud of you. And I want you to remember to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next episode of Win Win with Gwen because the next episode may just be the one that changes your life forever. Guys, this is such a powerful and important podcast today because I want you to know that you have the power to give yourself a better life. And knowledge is power. And I just dropped some on you. Now, look, if you don't understand that blood work, I've got to tell you, because I didn't understand my blood work at first. I would just get my blood work results, I can go online and look at them, and they actually sent them to me in the mail as well. I copied and pasted it into Chat GPT. It broke it down. It let me know if I was borderline. It let me know what I needed to be doing, what foods I needed to eat. I didn't want to get to the point where I needed a pill. I'm talking about prevention. I'm not telling you to stop taking your medicine and stop seeing doctors. Let your doctor know every step you're doing. But again, you can learn more and keep up with your own blood work. You've got the ability to exercise. If you can't stand up, exercise in a chair. Start somewhere. If you can't do anything but move your arms, get moving. But don't find yourself sitting for more than 45 minutes at a time without getting up for 10. And get those hips flexing. Spread those legs, touch them toes while you're on the floor. Do whatever you have. Lift that leg up. Get them hips flexible, honey. So many people go down because of weak hips. That's the key to get rid of the back pain. Now, I had extreme back pain. I went to chiropractors. I went to the doctor. They was giving me pain medication. As a matter of fact, when I left the chiropractor's office, I felt worse than when I went in there. I walked in there upright and walked back out bent over. And the crazy thing about it is they actually told me to start taking gummies. Gummies, they said it would help me rest and relax. And I said, wait a minute, I can't do this. Instead, I ended up going back and doing a lot of research. And at the end of the day, I started exercising. I started eating better. I stopped with the processed foods. I removed pillows. I started laying flat on my back or putting a pillow in between my leg or at night. I started doing back exercising and stretching, and when I tell you it's been over 2 years, I do not have any back problems. My shoulder, they told me I had frozen shoulder. I started moving it and doing exercises with my arms and stretching and flexing them, getting the blood flow in them. I ended up reversing whatever was going on. I'm not saying if that's happening to you that you don't need surgery or that you don't have something different. That was my personal experience. But I found that changing my diet, increasing my water, movement, removing pills, off flexing my hips, I don't have back pain anymore. I can get on the floor. I can get up off the floor. I can do so many things that I was not able to do by changing those habits in my life. You got to stop when your body talks to you and listen to them. Proper dieting works. Getting rest works. I mean, it works. I know it's not easy, but nor is the pain that you're experiencing on a daily basis. It eventually causes you so much pain and trauma that it wasn't worth it in the end. Yes, it's hard work, but you've got to do the work. And I believe that you got this. I know you do. But it's not for me to believe in you, it's for you. So tell yourself every chance you get that you can do this and take action because, honey, words without action, they ain't nothing. This is Win Win with Gwen. I am your host, Transformational Coach Gwendolyn Shores. I will see you back here same time every Friday, 6:15 a.m. I love you guys. See you next time.